Even though Missy seemed little, she was the character who inflicted the most pain in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage on Mother's Day, which only made Young Sheldon's crime against her worse. Because the story of Young Sheldon revolved around the titular character, it was reasonable for the plot to overlook Missy. After the Big Bang Theory prequel started to focus more on the ensemble cast, it became harder to defend. It became apparent that Missy's own family often disregarded her in the later seasons of the TBBT prequel, which further solidified the accusation that Young Sheldon's earlier seasons treated Missy poorly. Mary and Missy made brief appearances in the Young Sheldon spin-off Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, even though the show's focus was never meant to be on George's family. Season 1 of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage had to demonstrate the Coopers' profound grief over George Sr.'s death, especially since Young Sheldon ended suddenly. It would have been strange for first marriage not to depict Missy's rebellious era, given that TBBT had previously established what transpired following George's death. But there's one aspect of that depiction that makes Missy's treatment worse. To put it gently, Missy has been unfairly portrayed in Georgie and Mandy's. While Georgie did take Missy to see George Sr.'s tombstone in the second episode of First Marriage so that she might maintain a connection to their father, it only served to further isolate Missy from the rest of the program, making her appear more like a troublemaker in the Young Sheldon spinoff. Given that Young Sheldon and the Big Bang Theory had previously established that Missy's dumb teenager phase would ensue following the death of the Cooper patriarch, it is somewhat understandable that Georgie and Mandy centers on Missy's antics, especially considering that the show premiered just weeks after George Sr.'s death. Instead of presenting Missy's point of view and emotions, Georgie and Mandy's consistently highlights her negative traits, such as her defiant misconduct and the fact that other characters criticize her shortcomings. In fact, whenever Missy makes an appearance in Georgie and Mandy's, she is either irate and calls Mary names, or she acts out. In episode 20 of Georgie and Mandy's, this was on full display. When asked about Missy's Mother's Day preparations, Georgie instead proceeded to insult Mary by calling her names. Episode 20 of First Marriage also showed that characters exploited Missy to emphasize what a terrible daughter she was. This was especially true when someone brought up Missy during the disagreement between Audrey and Mary, which escalated into a brawl. In the brief times that Missy did not let her feud with Mary overpower her narrative, we could see the depth of her pain. Since Mary sought solace in her religion following George's death, Missy's decision to run away with Todd in episode 17 of First Marriage demonstrated that she still wanted an adult figure to emulate. Instead of having other characters describe Missy without providing any insight into her rationale, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage can give Missy agency by presenting her perspective and where she's coming from, even though it can't center on her. No time is wasted on Missy's or other Young Sheldon characters' development if it doesn't contribute to the story of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, which definitely established itself as a separate entity from Young Sheldon in its first season by focusing on the Mallisters overall and Georgie and Mandy in particular. It is quite improbable that Missy will be redeemed anytime soon due to this, but that's no excuse to have Missy painted in such a negative light in Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. Indeed, the gambling plot involving Meemaw demonstrated before that First Marriage is capable of centering on a Young Sheldon character while yet maintaining their complexity. While staying true to the principles set forth by the Big Bang Theory, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage manages to depict Missy as more than just a dumb teenager who makes a number of foolish blunders.